Hey, JK here. I want to thank you for sharing part of your day with me. Here for day 17, but covering day 16, we're going to be talking about the 4th and 5th place teams in the NL Central, the Pittsburgh Pirates and the St. Louis Cardinals. We'll start with the Cardinals, who had a 71-91 record and a negative 110 run differential. There were several guys who led in different categories, however, Paul Goldschmidt led the most, as he was the leader in at-bats, runs, hits, doubles, total bases, walks, strikeouts, average, and on-base plus slugging. Tommy Edman led the team in triples and stolen bases, whereas Nolan Gorman led the team in home runs. Nolan Arenado led the team in RBIs and slugging. And Lars Nootbaar led the team in on-base percentage despite 3 IL stints. He did have a pretty big role in the offense, however, it will be called upon to be even larger with the loss of Tyler O'Neill. Nootbaar showed a little bit of speed with 11 stolen bases and some pop with 14 home runs. However, his 72 walks and 99 strikeouts stick out to be the reason why he led the team with on-base percentage. Another guy to be looking at somewhere in your draft is Brendan Donovan. He was a utility man penciled in to be a second baseman right now. However, he played everywhere but center field and catcher last year. He is going to hit mostly against righties if he doesn't hit every day, and if his average doesn't raise against lefties, he won't hit every day. But in any case, last year he was in the midst of overtaking all of his rookie numbers. However, an injury at the end of July cost him the rest of the year. He'll be someone who can slot in pretty much anywhere and be a valuable piece to your fantasy team. Another guy who will probably be a fantasy piece in someone's outfield will be Jordan Walker. Last year he came in with so much hype, talking about how much he can hit and how much he can run, how good of an eye he had, and actually started the year out with 12 straight games. His first 12 games in the major leagues, he had a hit. And then, for some reason, he was sent down to the minors. However, it was because he needed defensive help. He came back up and ended the year with a .276 batting average and double-digit home runs. He is absolutely going to be someone's first baseman or outfielder because he does have dual eligibility in this upcoming draft. One of my favorite players on this team is Nolan Gorman. From 22 to 23, he played in almost 30 more games and had 32 more hits, almost doubled his home runs, did double his RBIs, and had 7 times as many stolen bases. He had 1 stolen base in 22 and 7 in 23, so that was 7 times as many, right? Sounds better when you say it like that. He will be the DH, but also have second base and third base eligibility, so he may be playing against lefties when Brendan Donovan is sitting because he can't hit lefties. Now, something that will hold Gorman back are his back issues. He had multiple stints on the IL or just multiple periods of missed time because of back issues, so that is something to keep an eye on. Someone else that may be exciting for any Cardinals fan is Mason Wynn, shortstop. Another guy, Juan Yepez, first baseman. Those two guys are going to have a hard time finding playing time with some of the stars on this infield. However, when they do get a chance, barring injury or just promotion of some sort because of lack of production from a star, they might do some stuff to surprise you. So keep an eye on them. When it comes to pitching, Miles Mikolas led everything except ERA and WHIP, which went to Jordan Montgomery. Montgomery left in the middle of the season, so the ERA went to Steven Matz and the WHIP went to Miles Mikolas. Now, the holds went to Giovanni Gallegos, who also was second in saves. However, there were 4 guys with 10-plus holds, and there were several guys, including Gallegos, with several saves. So, Ryan Helsley was the main guy for saves, even though he started injured and had a few stints on the IL, so Giovanni Gallegos stepped in. So, it's kind of a muddled mess. However, I do truly believe the bullpen is the most inconsistent but reliable piece of the pitching in St. Louis. I know it's hard to hear, but in any case, the main pitching, the starting rotation, was not sexy last year. You had Wainwright, Flaherty, you had Mikolas, Steven Matz. Montgomery, before he got traded, wasn't bad, but that's not an interesting group. They're in the middle to late part of their careers, definitely fell off with performance a few years ago. But in any case, those were your starters. I think it's going to be a little more exciting this upcoming year with some of the newbies. However, we'll see how that goes because each one of them also have drawbacks. One of them being Sonny Gray, who's already injured, who's going to start the year on the IL, potentially. And let's be real, his time in New York wasn't great. He was great in Oakland, but then went to Minnesota, did pretty well. Smaller market teams might be better for him. St. Louis is I would say, medium-sized market, but we'll see how it goes. Another new addition, however, very familiar face to the Cardinals rotation is Lance Lynn. We're going to forget the 2023 he had with the White Sox because he was with the White Sox. Not so much the Dodgers time, which wasn't great, but also not the worst in the world. We're going to try to get back to the 2014 to 2017 period that he was in, where he was pitching at least 150, usually 180 plus innings, throwing at least 150 to 180 strikes, and keeping his ERA below 4. That's what we're going to look for. The final guy they added to the rotation is Kyle Gibson. This man is not sexy. This man lives in the 4 to 5 ERA area with a 1.2 to 1.5 whip. Somehow, he won like 14, 15 games last year. I don't know how. But in any case, I feel like he's going to start another 30 games. He's going to be at another 4+ ERA, another 1.3 whip, and somehow he's going to get to double-digit wins. So we'll see how that goes. Now we get to the bullpen. Again, very shaky. However, probably the strongest part of the pitching, because you have Helsley, you have Gallegos, you have some other individuals who have holds opportunities. You have some flamethrowers in there. You have some guys who throw funky. But here's the thing. If you can get to them, they might shake all the way through, but they're probably going to come down with the save. They did have quite a few blown saves last year, but I mean, who isn't going to have blown saves? If you stuck with either Helsley or Gallegos, I feel like that would be best. But what do I know? I'm a Yankees fan, and Aroldis Chapman just wants to keep throwing fastballs against everyone, even though they know what's coming. I digress. I'm also excited for the additions in the bullpen, including Kittredge and Kenyon. Kittredge came over from Tampa Bay, so he might be able to give a little stability, as he does have experience working multiple roles. Setup man, starter, obviously closer in some capacity. So I think he's going to be a good asset for them. And Kenyon Middleton. Middleton has good stuff. You just don't know he has good stuff because he's bounced around and most recently has spent time with the White Sox. In any case, between Gallegos, Helsley, Middleton, Kittredge, I think it's a pretty safe bullpen to have parts of. And now we're going to get to the arrivals. We've talked about Gray and Kittredge and Gibson and Middleton. So now let's talk about position players. Mr. Brandon Crawford coming over from the Giants. He is going to be an asset for Mason Wynn to learn from, and also Tommy Edman, even though Tommy Edman is going to have the position in the bag. Finally, Matt Carpenter's back. I don't know what position he's going to play, but he's going to be an asset in the clubhouse. Now departures, not only as a Cardinals fan, which I'm not, but I know other people are, but as a Major League Baseball fan, which I absolutely am. Yadier Molina's loss and his retirement is definitely huge. Adam Wainwright also retired. They were battery mates for so long, so that duo is going to be hard not to see at some point in time. However, Wainwright's last few years haven't exactly been the sexiest. They also lost out on a few position guys, Mr. Paul DeYoung and Tyler O'Neill. Those two guys may not have been the most fantastic guys for them, but they were warm bodies. They were guys who had some talent, just not as much as you'd want to see because they didn't display it because they were often injured, or Paul DeYoung was just past his prime. Another guy that the Cardinals lost, Jack Flaherty. I don't think that's a big loss because I do think the rotation is a little better this year. Overall, I don't think the Cardinals are bad. I just don't think they're going to be competing in the Central. I don't know if they're going to make any wild card pushes or not. I do like some of the young players they have in the rotation. I also do like some of the guys they have in the lineup. I'm still a big fan of Nolan Arenado. I'm still going to be a fan of Nolan Gorman. So those two guys likely going to be on some of my fantasy teams, so I'm looking forward to them hopefully doing well. Overall, the young guys are going to have to step up. They're going to have to learn to pitch in tough situations. Liberatore was, again, starter, then reliever, setup man, put in the minors. Didn't know what was going on. Zach Thompson, currently slotted to be the 5th starter. We'll see how that goes. Drew Rom, again, wasn't sexy, but you can't win them all, So I think the Cardinals will be decent. I think they have a lot of growing to do as a team, but a lot of development that should happen with their young players with some of the veteran stars they have on their team. We're going to be back tomorrow, pending sick kids are no longer sick, with the 3rd place team, Cincinnati Reds. I look forward to talking to you tomorrow. This is Jay Cake, and I want to thank you for sharing part of your day with me.